The market isn't random. You're just not seeing it properly. And I don't mean that as an insult. I mean that as the moment everything starts to change. Because most people spend years trying to predict price without ever understanding what they're actually looking at. Right? Most people believe the market is chaotic, unpredictable, news-driven, emotional. Most of the time they think it went up because of the headline, it dropped because of fear, it reversed because of bad data. On the surface, that looks true. But here's the problem, right? If the market was truly random, why does it consistently hit your stop then reverse? Fake out in both directions. Move hardest when you hesitate. You see, that's not randomness. That's structure you don't understand or recognize yet. The market doesn't move randomly. It moves with purpose. And the purpose is really simple. Liquidity. The market is constantly seeking areas where orders are either stacked, stops are sitting. Classic emotion is predictable because that's where movement becomes possible. Think of it like this. Price doesn't move because of opinions. It moves because the orders are being filled at that space. And large players, they need liquidity to enter and exit. So what do? Well, they move price into areas where people are trapped. And this is where probably most people stop learning. But here's the deeper truth. It's not just about liquidity zones on a chart. It's about human behaviour being mapped onto price. Fear clusters, greed clusters, hesitation clusters, and the price moves through those clusters like a current. So, if this is happening, the question, why don't most people see it? Well, there's 3 reasons for that. The first is speed. The market moves faster than your nervous system can process. So instead of observing, you react, and reaction is always late. The second one is emotional distortion. When you're in a trade, your perception narrows, your bias strengthens, your objectivity disappears, unfortunately. You're no longer seeing the chart, you're seeing your position. Third one there, pattern misinterpretation. Most traders are taught patterns, but without context. So they see breakouts, support, resistance levels, trend lines, but what they don't see is why those levels exist. So they trade the shape instead of the intent behind the movement. You get it? So at some point, you stop asking, where is price going? And you start asking, where is price being pulled to? That's the shift. That's where clarity begins. Okay? I suppose you ask yourself the question at this stage, so how do I actually start seeing clearly? Well, it's not theory, it's real application. Slow yourself down. If your internal state is rushed, you will always misread the market. I've said this before, clarity requires space, not speed. You've got to observe before you engage. Instead of jumping in, watch what price does around key areas. Ask the question, did it move cleanly? Did it hesitate? Did it sweep and reverse? Because behaviour tells you more than prediction ever will. Detach from the outcome. The second you need a trade to work, you've already distorted your perception. The best traders aren't trying to be right. They're trying to see clearly. Shift from prediction to recognition, right? You don't need to guess the future. You need to recognize where liquidity sits, where behavior repeats, where emotion builds. And then, of course, you align with that, right? The market isn't confusing. It's just honest. It reflects behavior, emotion, and intent. The problem is, most people are too caught inside it to see it. But when you slow down, when you detach, when you start observing instead of reacting, you realize something very quickly. It was never random. You just weren't seeing it clearly, right? Be well, be safe.